Representative Dillard, you may now proceed with your opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the Young Democrats of Greenwood for inviting me to be a part of your town hall. I consider it a real honor to just have witnessed and heard from these local power women. I've known Miss Childs for a very long time. We started our service together, so I too have been serving 23 years, 8 years, 9 years on Greenville City Council first. And so I have an affinity for my ladies on City Council and those issues that they're talking about. And now it's been 13 years in the House, so 22, almost 23 years. And so, and I cannot say enough about my partner in crime, my ride or die, Miss Ann Parks. She served me well, and we compare notes often. And so I thank you for supporting her, because I am better, because in the Democratic caucus, House caucus, we are better because Miss Parks is there and with her senior leadership. Miss Parks did a great job telling you about the challenges that we have had. And so I won't go over those. But I will say the other part of our job as we started out the session this year has still been to manage COVID-19. I serve on the Ways and Means Committee. I am a new member to the Ways and Means Committee. I have previously held service on Labor, Commerce, and Industry, the Agriculture Committee, House Oversight, and the House Ethics Committee. So I find myself on Ways and Means. And one of the first things we did, bills we tackled, was to reinstate and give teachers the step increase that we promised them last year. So this time last year, really after the budget, March the 11th, the world as we know it changed. And so we were operating off of an old budget up until, well, we're still operating off an old budget. We're still in the budget process now, although the House has completed a budget. But we kind of froze everything. But we realized that teachers have worked hard via COVID, whether they've been virtual or, trying to manage in classroom activity. And so we did give them their step increase. We also gave $208 million toward COVID. I mean, everything about COVID, from these mobile clinic mobiles that hopefully you are seeing to have the COVID sites for vaccination, still more testing, more tracing. We released anybody almost that could give a shot to be trained, if they could be trained to give these COVID shots. And so we didn't want anything to hamper people getting vaccinated if they wanted to. And I am here to ask you, I hope that you will decide to be vaccinated. I've had my first shot. I have my second shot tomorrow. I'm really excited. Hadn't had any side effects. So I'm looking forward to a time that we might be able to come back to some kind of normal life. I will say, as we look forward with our legislative work, the session normally ends the first week in May, but we're going to be working all year because we're going to still work on the budget. We just got some new revenue projections, and after people pay their taxes, we had a very streamlined budget this year. And so there's still a lot of needs. And so we're going to wait after the Senate does their budget and we get it back. And so we'll probably still be working. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about is redistricting. We all know we took the census last year. The census determines funding for cities, towns, and states. And we worry about the results of the census because we were trying to do it in the middle of COVID. People were in their houses. We did not have the marketing funds from the previous administration to market the census, and there were not as many boots on the ground going door to door, again because of COVID. So here we are. We are normally, you get data in April, but because there have been some anomalies already identified, we won't get our census numbers until September. And that's going to affect everybody, all the elected officials on this call. So redistricting starts in the House, and we draw Senate lines. Senators draw their lines, and we draw our lines. And so based on that population, some places are going to gain representatives. Some places it's going to be really hard. They might lose one because population is being lost, which means districts have to get larger. In my district, I represent downtown Greenville. I have a very unique situation in that gentrification is taking over all of my district. So by traditional African American communities, I guess we started, cleaning them up when I was on city council, and now the market has taken over. So just the other day, a house went on the market for $350,000 right next to my mother's house. So that's what we have going on. And so my district is changing rapidly. And so we're going to have to do that work, but we won't get the information until September. And so we're going to be working, me and Ms. Parks and other members, we'll be working in October and November, trying to get these lines right for primary season, March 2022. And so after we do our work, then it goes to local government. And then the county council, Ms. Childs and her colleagues will draw lines. And then Ms. Bowles and Ms. Partlow will draw lines. And then our school district. So we need the public engaged in that process. There probably will be some public hearings as we did 10 years ago. You need to know your communities of interest. Make sure your districts aren't packed, and that you still are able to maintain the representation that you deserve and that you look forward to and have had over the years. And so with that, I'm going to end my comments and accept any questions that you might have.
All right. Thank you, Representative Dillard.